talking about traditional versus digital marketing. Well, Ade asked me earlier on what I felt or which one I preferred, digital marketing or traditional marketing. And I said, yeah, I don't have a preference. I have a preference because digital marketing is traditional marketing 2.0 or 5.0, as the case may be. But anyway, our guest is in the studio this morning, seated right here with me. And I would be speaking with Segun Fadimu, who is a sales and marketing expert. He's a business growth and organization culture coach. He's an attitude coach. He's a health and nutrition consultant and an agropreneur. Of course, he has helped many organizations 10 times their sales and increase their presence in the marketplace. Thank you for joining me on Tea Coffee this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let me put you in a tough spot. Traditional marketing versus digital marketing. Which do you prefer?
Well, I would say for me, I prefer the digital marketing. And that's because, I mean, it has a lot of advantages when you compare it to traditional marketing. Both are very relevant, of course, and though a lot of people make the mistake of saying that traditional marketing is old school. But the truth is, it is still very relevant up until now.
Okay.
The only difference is a lot of people spend time online, right? We have about 7-point-something billion people all around the world, and about 4.4 billion of those people are active online. So that's the major reason why I would prefer digital marketing to traditional marketing.
Is that also the major difference between the two?
Well,
if there are other differences, let's map them out.
There are a lot of differences. Okay, for example, with traditional marketing, right, because that focuses on billboards, on print, newspapers, TV ads, and radio and the other ones, there is no specified way that you can be able to tailor your market strategy to a particular set of audience.
Okay.
Now, if you look at digital marketing, I mean, I can simply just think of a product that I want to sell to, say, a woman that is about 28 years old that lives in Ojota and likes tea, right? I can intentionally target that particular person or people in that group, which will reduce, you know, my expense and my budget on my marketing. I mean, with as little as 2,000, I can do wonders, right? The cheapest billboard you get anywhere, even if it's in Sambisa Forest, will not cost you less than 50,000 naira, right? And you're not even sure that you're going to get the right traffic for your product.
Okay. So some people will still say that they prefer the traditional marketing because, oh, well, we can talk to consumers, we can this, we can that. I'd like for us to map out where the benefits of digital marketing outweighs that of traditional marketing.
Okay. Now, let's look at this from this angle, yeah? With the traditional marketing, the truth is your conversation and interaction with your consumer is very limited, right? If you're running an ad on TV, I mean, I can't stop the ads and ask and say, how are you doing? How can I get this product, right? The interaction is limited, right? You cannot walk past a billboard and ask questions, yeah? But if it is digital, I mean, a consumer can make a buy decision on the spot, right? You can interact with the product. You can get to reach out to the owner of the product and know how they are doing, right? So the benefits are countless when you start considering, you know, start connecting it, you know, to traditional marketing. With digital marketing, you can be located anywhere in the world. I mean, I can be in Nigeria and sell a product to somebody in Cameroon. I can sell to somebody in Ghana. I can sell to South Africa. I can sell to somebody in the United States.
You're not limited by physical
Unlimited by physical barriers, right? It is, you know, the only form of traditional marketing where you get to interact directly with your consumer or your prospect is telemarketing, right? Because you can speak directly with them on the phone, and that is cold calling. There are some times that you're still going to be met with a lot of obstructions and people that are, you know, reluctant towards your product. But with digital marketing, you can cast your net in such a way that your customers even have to come to you by generating your traffic organically or take your product to the people that you're sure will make a buy decision on your particular product.
Now, there's one advantage of digital marketing that I like. And I'd like for us to touch on it because it has something to do with, of course, generally, when we have conversations like this, we ask people what they think about certain things. Now, this advantage of digital marketing is, you know, knowing how to gatekeep each touch point for your customer.
Yes.
knowing that, okay, at the very point of contact with the business, this customer, this is the experience we want this customer to have. And you create such experiences till the very last, from purchase to, what's it called, support, down to everything. Like, okay, my customer has come to this business to buy this. We have given them advice on what best suits what they need. They've bought the product, but they don't really know how to navigate it. Maybe there's a problem somewhere. We are right there at the point of support to ensure that they still, you know,
Get the
enjoy
best
whatever,
out of
get
that
the best out of that
product, yes.
product. And then, okay, maybe they need to service it, all of that. I like the fact that digitally you can gatekeep. And I'm saying gatekeeping very, very
You know,
responsibly.
Okay, right.
Because some people gatekeep and it still doesn't work in their favor, but that's not where we're going.
Yeah.
Now, we've realized that people know, or people have started learning how to manipulate the environment to suit what works for those touch points.
Okay.
Now, the question we asked people, and some people think that hot trends are one beautiful way to manipulate those touch points, right?
Yeah.
Now, we asked people what they think, and the question goes like this. Jumping on hot trends to market one's product, is it a platform manipulation or is it a good marketing strategy?
Well, jumping on trends, the first thing I would like to point out is it is not a marketing strategy.
Okay.
Right? Because when you talk about strategy, it has, you know, some elements that makes it a strategy.
Yeah.
Now, it has to have a clear value proposition,
Yeah.
right? You have to be able to define, you know, type of audience that you're trying to target, right? You have to have the success metric to know if that particular product is doing fine, right? Branding has to also be put into place. You need to be sure that it is projecting the right brand of your product now. Then you have to also be sure that the strategy is smart. It is specific, measurable, you know, it is realistic, achievable, and time-bound, right? Now, when you're comparing this to jumping on trends, trends are things that you don't plan. You don't know who is going to trend, when what is going to trend. I mean, in January alone, we've had about 6 or 7 hot topics that are trending, and it is still January, right? So jumping on those trends is not even a market strategy. It is only amateurs that do that. But one thing I can commend, you know, on that, I can commend people and business owners for that is it is very creative. Because the truth is the social media or the online space is very noisy.
True.
And one way to get out of the noise is to be able to, you know, get ahead of the trend. The moment something drops, you're there, right? Like this Wawa Waris or whatever is going on right now. And, you know, the Sazuze we had in December. You know, all that. Now, you can be able to use that. It is not necessarily platform manipulation. It's just being creative. But at the same time, users have to be very, very, and I say it again, very careful, right? There are some trends that you don't jump on to promote a product. If it's a trend that, you know, is something that it's awful or something that has happened to somebody and it's painful, now using the hashtag of that trend to sell a product.
We see a lot of that, excuse me, we see a lot of that on Twitter where, oh goodness, where something bad has happened, say somebody lost something or something terrible has happened, and the name around that bad incident is maybe a Tunde, for instance, and then you see people tweet something absolutely ridiculously unrelated, and then they put Tunde inside, and I'm like, yeah, correlation, please. What's going on here? But anyway, let's take a few comments, and I would like to hear your reaction to these comments.
All right.
Now, Beams from Lagos says, well, I'd say it's a bad marketing strategy, although I won't term it platform manipulation. But if you don't choose a good time to market your product and even a good place, you won't survive as a business person. If you choose to market your product to angry customers or sad customers online, what do you think the response will be? Just posting on any available platform you see or jumping on any trends to promote your product isn't advisable. You might even lose the customers you have when they see that you are insensitive. Customers need to know that when there is a complaint, an issue, or a need from them, you can easily sympathize with their needs and prefer a solution. They don't want to have to deal with someone who can easily dismiss them due to their insensitivity to issues, and being sensitive to customers' needs is one of the must-have keys to digital marketing. Now, after Beams, Muyiwa from Ondo State says, yes, it is so social media manipulation. Some don't even have the sense. Oh, goodness. Muyiwa, take it easy now. Some don't even have the sense at the right time. How will you be thinking of advertising your product on a platform where people are crying for justice at the moment? Shake my head. Try that on Twitter and receive the worst comments of your life. In fact, if you as a person posting doesn't have common sense, how will your product make sense?
That's one thing I always say, that it is not just about the person being insensitive. Those kind of people are just not in their right set of mind. And you don't want to buy a product for somebody that they don't know how to think properly. And that's why I mentioned the other time that some trends, can get your product seen by people, especially when they're entertaining, right? You can't just jump. I mean, when people are crying, when they are mourning, when people are shouting, when they are crying for justice, then you post bags and you put hashtag justice for
Sylvester.
I mean, what does that have to do with your bags? And in actual fact, the person would definitely lose customers that are sensible.
But genuinely, some people would tell you that it's traditional marketing also, we had people like that who would use any tragedy to sell their markets.
Well, it depends on the kind of product you're selling.
And so, for instance, maybe someone dies and there is such a big crowd gathered, maybe because the person is very loved and all of that. Some people will come there to sell handkerchief. Some people come there to sell water.
Well, when they are selling those things, they are selling the things that are useful as at that point in time. They are not coming there to sell a car. Rather, they are coming there to sell an underwear, right? If people are crying, they definitely need an handkerchief to wipe their face. If people have been there for too long, they need water to drink, right? These are basic things, right? These are needs that are applicable to that particular moment. Nobody comes to that kind of gathering and markets a lip gloss, right? Or comes there to market air, or you're there to market jewelry, right? Now, those things, people are still going to buy them, not at that point in time.
Oh, but is it not grief exploitation really at best? Even those that are selling, because you know that people who grieve they would need something at one point or the other. So I have an example of someone who cooks soups for people who have just lost somebody or who is recently bereaved.
Yeah.
She says, oh, well, as far as she's concerned, you will need somebody to step in and do the cooking for you, the cleaning for you. In that moment, you're probably not yourself because there's a lot going on. So let's do that for you, right?
Well, the truth is, most people that will be able to afford that would definitely have an housekeeper. That's the first thing to consider.
Okay.
The second one is somebody that's recently bereaved will have a lot of family members around.
Okay.
Right? So for that person, if the person is watching wherever you are, right, that is not a well-defined audience. Because it is not only people that are bereaved that eats. It's not only people that are bereaved that needs house cleaning, right? So tailoring a particular product to a limited market is a sure way to not optimize
your profit margin. Okay. All right. So Ayobami from Ogun State says, I don't think it is right. Let's use the recent justice for Sylvester as a case study. It's clear that a boy died. It's clear that those involved decided to cover up for their children and travel them abroad. It's clear that people tried and are still trying to seek justice for the late child, as the case seems to have been swept under the carpet just because elites are involved. It's clear that people are still trying to sympathize with the grieving family. Now, if you're a marketer who decides to use such a sensitive issue and platform to promote your product, then I must put it to you that you are highly wicked and unreasonable.
Those are marketers that lack decency.
So let's talk about comment section marketing.
Okay.
There are some human beings who are one more post shy of spam. Just one
Just
more
one.
shy.
And they'll be kicked off the market.
Yeah. And every comment section, oh my goodness, either it's relevant or it's not relevant. You see them there advertising soap, advertising cream, advertising. We're like,
You know, one of the things that I always advise business owners, especially those that put out their business online, there is, no matter how tempting it is, run away from spamming. Right? It is insensitive. It is silly to go to someone's comment, section and start posting, "I sell shoes," when the person is, selling something entirely different. I mean, if you want to sell yours, why not run an ad? But
something needs to be said about those people.
But there's something that digital marketers enjoy from one of those things.
Okay.
Right? For example, if you're running, let's say, a traffic ad on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Whoever clicks the ad, right, Facebook charges you for it and all that. But if you're running a lead generation ad, right? Now, the more the traffic that ad generates, the lesser Facebook charges you. So when people that don't even need your product clicks on that ad, they help you bring down and optimize your budget, right? But commenting unnecessarily in the comment section, I'm sure Instagram is on the lookout for such people. That's when you see somebody say, I no longer can access my Instagram account. Ask them.
You can't, because you messed up
what
somewhere.
Have you been doing? Right? So it is very important that people stay away from other people's, except that type of post calls for that kind of attention. There are groups on Facebook. There are some influencers on Instagram that would ask people, to drop whatever they're selling in the comment section. Now that's a different case. But jumping on people's comment section and just posting whatever you like, well, it's a bad way to sell in
all right, Dotun from Ibadan has this to say. I don't see how it is platform manipulation. No. I mean, how else will you market your product if not online? As a marketer that I am, there are key platforms to look out for. One is a platform that has a large crowd. If you're waiting for a less painful trend on social media to market your product, then you're not a marketer, but just a sympathizer at that moment. There is no sympathy in business. Neither is there a right time to market one's product. There is just the time. Opportunity these days only comes once. What if your target audience are the ones on the trend?
Well, let me react to that. Well, it's very funny, right? Because there's no way in any form of market strategy, right, where you have jumping on trends, especially the sad ones.
Yes.
Right? Now, hashtags is something a lot of people don't even know how to use. Right? Instagram would allow you to put in about 30 different hashtags, right, on your post, either on the caption or
reels,
in the comments. But there are specific types of hashtags you should use if you intend to drive traffic to your page. I mean, your hashtag should address a particular community. You should have an hashtag that addresses a geographical location, right? An hashtag that talks about the content of the post itself.
Yes.
An hashtag that that talks about the industry of that post, where that product is targeting and it belongs to, and those type of hashtags should always be in your post. That way you can be able to reach more audience, right?
Yeah, and your audience will be more tailored.
Yes, defined. Not just everywhere. I mean, if it's an account that has about 20,000 followers, right? If you're able to put all of this into every of your posts, right? Not in a particular order, not a particular number of it, you're going to get additional about 10% views.
Yes.
Right? On that particular post, because the algorithm is crazy. It's not as if all the 20,000 followers that you have will see your post eventually, but it will give you an edge. But still, you have to be very careful. I mean, there's nothing in marketing that says you have to be insensitive, to people that you're trying to sell product to. There's nowhere it is in the books. Even logically, I mean, people are grieving and you're trying to market a product to them.
Cotton has something to say in, support. And this support is not...
It's not a full support, yeah?
Now, Cotton is from Lagos State, and he says, to be honest, if you want your business to thrive and succeed over time, you need to be able to to market your products online and seize every opportunity you see. There's a popular saying, out of sight, out of mind. Your product constantly has to be in people's faces for them to know that you're there. If you don't put in time and effort to create a strong online presence, your competitors will. And it won't be long before they steal your customers from you. And who knows, your customers might just be those tweeting. In my opinion, it's a good marketing strategy. The question now is this.
Okay.
Where does out of sight, out of mind come to play when it comes to digital marketing versus, what's that thing?
Traditional marketing.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also, how do you now, this platform manipulation thingy and jumping on threads, where does that now fit in? Because for these two people, that's Dotun and Cotton, for in their minds, they feel like it's a trend. It gives you more leverage to put your market out there. And I can understand why they would think like that, because everyone, for the most part, thinks that marketing is just make sure your product is out there at all costs, regardless of what cost it comes, just make sure your product is out there. So where does out of sight, out of mind come to play in all of this?
Well, marketing is a journey.
Okay.
A lot of people confuse marketing for sales, right? Now, having your product out there for people to see all the time, you have to be careful of how you do it. Now, never, and I say again, never misinterpret volume for quality.
Say that again.
Never misinterpret volume for quality, right? Putting out content every now and then, say 20, 30 posts per day, doesn't necessarily mean you will get the right of engagement that those posts requires. Because the most important thing for you on the platform you're using is to create an engagement, right? It is not about having 20,000 posts. It is not about having 50,000 posts. It is having the kind of post that will attract the type of audience that your product needs.
Okay.
Right? So when you're putting out content and you feel you just have to constantly stay in the face of people, what if your content is not relevant? Don't forget that the internet is a very noisy place, right? And there are people, the attention span right now is about 3 to 5%, right? So if you're putting anything out there and because you want to be in the face of people, I mean, it's easy. I just scroll, right? But when you have a content that would attract my attention, and the algorithm is I mean, it's in such a way that posts that are creating engagement are being shown to more users.
Yeah.
Right? It has more likes, more comments, there's
More
interaction, you know.
interaction, yes.
More people keep seeing it. Now, when you have such posts and you decide to just jump on a new trend and just post something else, and what you're posting doesn't even have the kind of content that your perceived customers will want to interact with, that means you've just shoved off the one that was doing well in the first place.
Okay.
So it's very important to take note of that.
Let me cut you in here. So based on what you just said, what are the best marketing strategies or the best ways to put your products out there or to market your product digitally?
Okay, one of the best ways for you to first understand the time at which your customers are online.
Okay.
Right? Now, in 2021, statistics has shown that between Wednesdays and Thursdays, those are the time that people have a lot of engagement online.
That's on Instagram or generally?
Generally.
Okay.
Though a lot of us, me, myself inclusive, used to think that weekends are the best time to sell any product. But the truth is between the hours of 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays, all around the globe.
But why?
I do not know. I mean, that is the time you would expect that a lot of people will be at work. Yeah, anyway, right? But it's not the same thing that is applicable in Canada.
Lord, yeah.
You understand? In the UK, in some region, I mean, in the US and all that. So you first need to understand the timing. That is why Instagram and Facebook pages, business pages, has insights. You need to first understand when your customers are online. The second one is to master the act of storytelling. Now, everybody wants to relate with a story.
Yes.
Now, it is the same thing that we use in traditional marketing and has shown a lot of success. I mean, back in the days, there's this ad, Mama, you do good.
Yes.
You can remember that? That's
a story.
That's about 12 or 15 years ago. I can still remember that. A lot of other ones, right? Because it tells a story. My friend Udeme is a great man. It tells a story, right? So if you're starting to sell anything online, you need to be able to create a story around your product, around yourself, right? And the story has to have a lot of emotions infused in it, because every time you want your customers to feel like they are cheating you, the moment you lose that touch, they definitely would have to look for a better product somewhere else, right? So it is important that you understand this as well. The other one is whatever product you're trying to showcase online, make sure that if it's a picture, it's of very good quality.
Okay.
If it's a video, it's a very good quality, right? You need to understand that each of those pages have, the size of image that would do very well on it. You don't post a story size of image on a feed where a portion of the image will, be taken off, or a picture that looks like you took it with a Sagem My X53, right? Or a Samsung Blueface, right?
So all these brand names that you're mentioning on my show,
I'm
I'm very sure that my check is ready for
don't worry,
marketing.
you
Okay,
get it
marketing
very
heard you. All right, so I need us to look at generally the do's and don'ts, the things that you should not do, especially as a business owner. So a lot of people, one that I know that I have seen happen a lot of people bring in their how would I put it now? Their personal pages, or the way they handle their personal pages, into the way their business page is handled.
Okay.
For some people, it works because people see the personality behind the business. For some people, they're like, is this person serious? So what are the general do's and don'ts? And some people also copy verbatim what another person is doing on their own page. Like, it's working for Benga.
It should
must
work for me,
You know?
right?
So let's look at the general rules of engaging your audience with digital marketing.
One of the first thing I would say is don't spam. Now, that's one of the general rules.
Let's define spamming.
That simply is just approaching the set of audience that you're not invited to, right? You just don't go on people's comment section and just post something, right? You just don't send people junk mails anyhow, right?
Okay.
Even though they are promotional emails, put yourself on the shoes of your customers. How many times do you open your spam mails and start checking one after the other?
I feel like
Right?
this table is really shaking.
We just throw
just
it
go
off,
through, yeah.
right? So why would you do that? Why waste your money, right? Doing that type of campaign. One other thing is, don't ever leave your website, if you have a website, unattended to, right? A lot of business owners we do that a lot, right? You just have a website, so person builds your website, and you leave it like that for 54 years, right? That's the same set of content. You're not changing any graphics. You're not checking even if it is doing well from the back end. You're not even, the only thing is just put www. whatever. When you even get the email that the hosting is expired, And one other thing is, make sure that you always optimize your pages, your websites, especially for mobile. That is very important, right? Over 70% of buy decision that is made online is made on mobile.
True. On the go.
I mean, your smartphone can do almost everything that your computer would do. Almost everything,
yes.
right? So a lot of people are always on their smartphones. Just few people are on their computer, so you have to make sure that you always optimize your ads, your website in such a way. You stumble on some websites on mobile and you're like, what's happening here? Because the buttons are all over the place. You don't know where to go to. Yes. Everything is, and some people make these mistakes of trying to act like big brands, right? Trying to put big grammars on the website and all that. I mean, who cares about that? Your customers want something that is user-friendly.
Yes.
I want to be able to get on your website, be able to navigate through easily, be able to do whatever I have to do. It is only when I can't do a few things that I would have to use the support, right? It should be a type of platform where I can just go through from your social media or whatever, land to the website and make a buy decision.
Seamless,
right? Seamless transaction.
Yes.
It should be easy. And one of the things that you always have to do is don't be shy to ask an expert for help. A lot of people are dashing all the social media platforms free money. Simply because YouTube said, I can do it like this. Right? And then you keep giving them money. And I mean, these people are smart.
Of course, they will give you recommendations.
They will show you a small, just An easy way, Facebook would always do that, boost this post, yeah? then just a little pinch, right? Not knowing that you're just throwing your money to the wind, right? So don't be shy to ask an expert for advice on one of the things or whatever you have to do. And the other thing is make sure that you have the knowledge of your target audience. As easy as that is. One of the biggest things that, that improves marketing and makes sales get better either traditionally or digitally is knowing the right set of audience to attend to. Customer segmentation is the best thing you can do for yourself. That would help you to tailor your content to a particular type of audience. Right?
Gives it more reach.
I mean, you sell lingerie and you're targeting men in January. Right? when January is like 174 days.
You know.
Right? But then, if you're targeting a woman, I mean, she might not be the one to buy it, but she would definitely take a snapshot, send it to the guy, and the man.
But not all the time.
But sometimes.
Not all the
but
time.
especially not in January.
Really, I would have loved for us to go on and on because it's a conversation that I always like to have. But I have to go because, I mean, we don't have all the time in the world.
Yes.
But it would be an amazing one to have this conversation in another light with you maybe some other day. So I hope you oblige us when we invite you on the show again.
I will, definitely.
All right, that was Segun Fadimu, and he's been having a conversation with me about digital marketing versus traditional marketing.